Hey guys, I thought I would throw together a quick force feedback test. Wanted to try something a little different. We were having a discussion the other week and really wanted to kind of get an understanding of what I was feeling. So what I decided to do was turn everything off. There's no motion rig, seat and pedal transducers are off, and the game audio is muted on my side, even though you should be able to hear it in the recording. But there is nothing over here, so I'm driving 100% just by the feel of what's coming through the steering wheel. And of course the visuals, I'm driving on the monitor, which is unusual for me, but I'm not driving for fast laps anyway, just trying to get a feel of what the game is telling me and just trying to explain it. I do one lap in 5 sims, all in the AMG GT3 at Nurburgring. So we have Assetto Corsa Competizione, Race Room, RF2, and iRacing. So I'm going to switch over. We'll run through each one. And then at the end, I'll come back and just give my overall thoughts on which ones I liked and didn't, and why that is. All right, so we are now in Assetto Corsa, the original. One thing I noticed is this is the first sim where I just felt the rears spin up there as we accelerated. Now, instantly, I'm getting so much feedback as I go too hot through that corner. You can feel a ton of vibration, let you know that there's understeer, and it's a little odd. At the same time, you almost can feel the weight shift of what the rear end was doing. Let's see. Definitely getting some ABS kicking in. Wheel weight's up nice. You get this little, just a little something's happening just to kind of, you know, the tires are working. Curbs are very strong. I set that up. I like that. Yep, you can definitely feel a sensation for understeer. It's different than when you're just pushing the fronts. It's a little vibration versus almost like a small chatter. You can definitely get the ABS. Oh yeah, it feels good. It feels very natural. It gets heavy, but it's not crazy heavy. It's going a little hard here. Yeah, I mean, the wheel's just kind of doing this real subtle little, you know, real fast vibration. It's just enough to let you know that the grip is basically gone and you either need to slow the car down or remove some steering lock. It just feels really good. You get, like I said, it's interesting. You get both weight shift and you're getting grip information. In race room, I wasn't. Curbs are great. Race room, I wasn't getting any grip info, and in ACC, the distinction wasn't nearly as impressive. But here you can feel a ton of activity happening there. Oh. Not going to make it to the end. And the rear spin up, you get a real violent shake in the wheel. It's kind of cool. And again, ton of ABS effect, which you can obviously, you know, custom set to your liking in AC with the sliders. I prefer quite a bit of effects coming through my wheel. So to me, this feels really good. I love AC's force feedback. To me, it's just super natural. All right, here we are in ACC. Let's see how we get along with this game. So first thing we'll do is just kind of chuck it in, and instantly you'll notice there's a little bit of vibration through the wheel, just fighting you a little bit. I guess letting you know that you're asking too much of the front tires, or you just have too much steering angle put in. As soon as you get on the brakes, the wheel gets heavy. And then as you get to the lower speeds there, with a lot of brake input, you can feel the ABS kicking in. Curves feel good. You get a little bit, I don't want to call it notchiness, it's just something to let you know that the tires are working. Just feels much more natural. You still get the weight shift, but you're also getting information on grip levels. Not much curb on that one, I'm surprised. I feel some of the other curbs. I can feel the road texture is pretty decent. And there's some understeer. You can feel the wheel really pulsating. You feel a little bit of curb there. That one I felt. That was the first curb that really came through. The rest of them have only been mediocre. Big jolt. Like I said, the road texture is decent. Curbs are decent. Not great, but they're there. But more importantly than the curbs, there's some kind of information being fed through as far as cornering. It just feels so much more natural. That curve I could feel. And you do get that little ABS kick. Yeah, to me, force feedback is very good here in ACC. I don't have any real problems with it. I only have a couple hours in the game. I'm sure I could tweak it and make it even better. These are almost default settings. So overall, I like this. It seemed really natural. I have no complaints with it whatsoever. All right, here we are in race room. Get an idea of what's going on here. So first thing I notice is that there is nothing being fed through the wheel during the corner other than weight. I'm assuming it's the weight of the car. Basically, I just get a really heavy wheel. Hard on the brakes, nothing. Whether there's ABS or brake lockup, I couldn't tell you. I feel nothing. I feel heavy wheel. And then I feel the rear wheels trying to kill me. But that's it. No idea. No idea. Turn it in. I couldn't tell you what's happening. A little brake. Turn it in. Again, I feel the weight shift, which is the back of the car coming around there, as I broke a little late and turned the wheel. But I have no idea if there's any contact patch between the road surface and the tires. Long sweeping right. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Feel the curbing. You can see the wheel fighting back and forth. I can feel the bumps. Turn it in. I got nothing. I'm not saying, when I say nothing, I don't mean the wheel's light. I'm saying there's just no information. I don't know what's happening at any point, other than the car is shifting its weight to the outside and the wheel gets heavy. That is the only thing I get inside race room. And bumps. I mean, here, throw it in, intentionally crank the wheel. There's no chatter. There's no vibration. There's nothing. It's not even a contest. For me, this is absolutely the worst force feedback. Apparently there's people out here who are happy with it. I don't know if they're getting different information than I am, or if they just prefer only the weight of the car. But for me, this tells me absolutely nothing that's happening with the tires at any point during my lap. And here we are in iRacing. I am using the IR FFB app. I just started using it the other day, so I'm still figuring out the best settings for it. But I do find that the default iRacing force feedback, while it's decent, kind of reminds me of Race Room, that I don't really get any feeling, you know, at turn in or mid corner or anything like that. I don't have no idea about understeer or really much tire grip, even though it does have a decent ABS effect. So I just switched to this, still tweaking, but I am finding it helps a little bit. At the very least, there's an understeer setting. Makes the wheel go light, but it's not exactly what I'd like, but it does at least give you some information. So like right now, if I just crank it, you get a little feedback, and then the wheel's just gone right there, so you know you need to remove some lock. So at least it's giving you some information. As far as road feel, it's decent. There's some stuff coming through. You can kind of see the wheel moving. More than enough for my purposes here. It's got good ABS effect. I can definitely tell something's happening under the brakes. It loads up nicely. At corner entry. There's a lot of quick left-right jolts. I'm not really sure, especially without any audio, if that's maybe gear selection or the road bumps. But I notice a lot of like real quick little movements like that. I feel like I'm fighting the wheel quite often. I'm not really sure why. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the most communicative during the entry of the corner. Definitely some weight shift there. I could feel the wheel, the rear moving around as I downshift to second too early. Curbs are decent. Definitely getting more jolts than fine detail, but again, I'm fine with that. You can kind of see this bouncing all over the place. Not a ton, but it's there. I can't tell if that's just the ABS effect I'm feeling sometimes, if I'm holding on to the brake a little too long. Might need to lower the suspension bump setting a little bit. Oop, we're gonna miss it. It's definitely giving more than I thought it was through the corners. Sometimes it feels like it's the rear that's talking to you more than the front, but it's getting there. I like that. And then you could feel it go light right there. That wasn't bad. And there's that ABS effect. You can really feel vibration in the wheel. Overall, iRacing's decent. You get most of the information, at least I get most of the information I'm looking for. I do wish there was a little bit more of the front wheel grip feel. It's like it's the only thing that's kind of missing. I feel like I know what the rear's doing, and I got suspension and the bumps, and now I have the lightness for understeer, but I just wish I had a little bit better understanding of actual front tire grip when I turned in. Maybe I could fix that with some more tweaking of this force feedback through IR FFB. All right, we're now in R Factor 2. Alright, so the first thing that's noticeable is that the wheel actually is probably one of the lighter wheels once you turn in. The wheel actually goes light, but it goes light and at the same time gives you some weird vibrations that are instantly noticeable, in my mind at least, as some kind of grip levels. So you have an idea what's going on. At least that's the way it works for me. The other thing that I noticed that no other game does here is when I'm braking, the wheel straightens itself, almost locks itself up. It's really difficult to brake and turn the wheel. It fights you, and then you just let go of the brake and it gets real light and lets you turn in. I'm not sure if there's a setting. I don't think there's one for that. I don't know. But this is the only game that does that. It's kind of cool though. Road texture is good. You can feel a ton. Oops, forgot to shift. You can see every time you touch the brakes, the wheel sort of straightens up. Curves are very strong in the game. I like that. It's definitely a very light wheel, but controllable. And the other thing I noticed is when you do overdo it and end up with an oversteer like that, it goes super light, like, but it's noticeable difference, and the vibration in the wheel changes. It goes from a rumble to more of a hopping feeling, but it makes sense. To me, it's, I don't know, feels very natural. You always feel like you're getting some kind of feedback through every corner. You can see a little bit of little ABS kick. Pretty awesome, honestly. All right, so that was my findings. For me, Race Room is the worst of all of the games. It's just weird. I can not tell you how many hours trying to figure out what's going on with this game. There's plenty of people who seem to love it. I am not one of them. I get zero road feel. I have no idea what's going on. It is 100% just the weight of the car. Mostly I feel like I'm driving the game through the rear wheels and just guessing. One thing I did notice is that I think this is the only game where I crank the wheel excessively when I drive, and I think it's because I just don't have any information of what's happening, and it's just the wheel is just sort of there. It's not even connected to anything. At least I think so. I need to check that in a couple of the games. But Race Room is the worst. iRacing, I would say, is fourth. The FFB app certainly is helping, and it's, you know, better than Race Room for sure. If I could just get a little bit of feel in the middle of the corners, I actually would be pretty happy with it. ACC, AC, and RF2 for me personally are all really good. R Factor 2 is the best. I just really like the way that it behaves and some of the weird things it does. I kind of dig it. AC and ACC are both really good. Surprisingly, I think I prefer AC a little bit over ACC, but you know, it's just personal preference. I could drive ACC all day and be totally fine, if only it would work in VR well. But I would say those three are the top of the list for me. iRacing is a step behind, and Race Room is a week behind. I can't wait until Automobilista 2 drops the GT3 pack. Quick testing in that and the other cars shows that that's going to be a serious contender for the best. But we'll see when it gets here. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Feel free to share if you have any idea how I can possibly fix Race Room. I would be thrilled to hear it.